Girl, take it easy. I don't mean to hurt you, baby. The coldness making me shiver. And back home, it hot like fire. That is why I said the next jet plane must take me to Water Spain, where all my fans are waiting, preparing for Juve morning. Darling, don't no cry, I'm leaving. I can't miss this jamming. With all them steel band beating and woman background shaking. If the bug bite you, baby, then you could come and join me inside Catelli steel band, jamming with some man woman. Made up, Airport Kennedy would be my next stop. Don't cry and try to convince me, cause my suitcase done pack already. And if you start feeling lonely and mass fever vibrating your body, just make a quick reservation and touch down in the land of steel band. This jamming, with all them steel band beating and woman background shaking. If the bug bite you, baby, then you could come and join me inside Catelli steel band, jamming with some man woman. Don't cry, honey. You go see me Ash Wednesday. Lauren, don't cry, I'm leaving. I can't miss this jamming with all them steel band beating and woman background shaking. If the bug bite you, baby, then you could come and join me inside Catelli steel band, jamming with some man woman. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Lauren, don't cry. This jamming with all them steel band beating and woman background shaking. If the bug bite you, baby, then you could come and join me inside Catelli steel band, jamming with some man woman. Mass fever in my body, girl. Can't take it off. Lauren, don't cry, I'm leaving. This jamming with all them steel band beating and woman background shaking. If the bug bite you, baby, then you could come and join me inside Catelli steel band, jamming with some man woman.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. A pleasant good night to all and sundry. Yes, this is the Corridor Transformation, of course, the Monday edition, yes, of the new work week. And we are here, of course, in the background. Don't forget, of course, to share. I think we are well on our way to, of course, normalcy. But normalcy, maybe in some instances, a relative term, or it could be, of course, a very specific and a perfect term, meaning that once the information gets out there, once, of course, you enjoy your nightly dose of information, that is only sterling in terms of presentation. If I may be able, of course, to blow my own trumpet and or pin my own lapel, but the fact of the matter is that is the reality, and we have, of course, to continue. I want to, of course, express my deep appreciation for all of those who participated on the ground report this morning. And of course, whilst of course the corridor transformation will be a taste different to the ground report, nonetheless, of course, it is in the same direction in the sense that we must, of course, inculcate, we must share, and we must transform Trinidad and Tobago. That is the objective, and what we have to do is to begin with the political, should I say, savagery that, of course, is Trinidad and Tobago today. So enjoy, of course, this is the man himself. What's he's called? Explainer, yes, the late explainer. Let's say a little piece of him again, because of course he's talking about missing Trinidad and Tobago. Well, we are missing, all of us, what Trinidad and Tobago could have been, should have been, save for the intervention of this, what I consider to be head of a criminal enterprise, a pedophile and a rapist, a mafia scoundrel, and of course a man who clearly was never fit for purpose, meaning that to lead Trinidad and Tobago. We are seeing it on a daily basis, so today is no exception, and to say so, I'm sure he's not surprised, but of course, the ultimate, because he believes he can do people evil and then stay in office. That is the level of madness that the Rowley person, the Rowley individual, the devil personified, in the form of Keith Christopher Rowley, believes. But of course, we know better, and collectively and individually, we are going to, of course, demonstrate to Rowley and the PNM that we know better, because, of course, they have morphed, if not before, but certainly, and not surprising, they are a criminal enterprise. You just have to look at, of course, Balize House and that monstrosity, an amalgam of steel, mortar, bricks, and these days glass. Let's go back to Explainer.
Taxi, Airport Kennedy.
Yes, people, of course, don't forget to share. I'll be, of course, making that plea every night. Whether I'm in front of the camera or behind the camera, the work and the job is the same. Of course, the lines are open immediately. We have programmed ourselves to go until 9 o'clock. But who knows? Last night, of course, we went the full distance and beyond. Which we are accustomed to, and that is to say, to go up to 10 o'clock. But flexibility is within our grasp, and therefore we use it depending on the circumstance. Have a wonderful program tonight, as of course we share immediately when I come out. Yes, the lines are already open, so I think I better start, of course, doing what is required. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Yes, how are you doing?
Good. Hey, Lennox,
Uh-huh.
I was reading newspaper earlier afternoon at Lennox Congo.
Yeah.
There is have a new audit General or something. They have a new person.
I have not gotten that news, but I will not be surprised having regard to the shenanigans of this government and its undermining of institutions.
People is a new Auditor General, whatever they call her.
All right, okay. Well, I will certainly check that tonight, because that is news. We didn't have it on the ground report this morning, so therefore it must have happened sometime later, or between then the closure of the ground report and now. So I'm going to check it out. Yeah.
I read the paper back this afternoon. I saw it. I said, what is this with the lady? Get rid of her, right?
Yeah. That is the evil that we are dealing with, purporting to be government and governance. But they have a rude awakening, no doubt, at the appropriate time. The people, I'm sure, will not countenance that kind of, what I could say, maladministration and evil disposition and victimization, utilizing, of course, high office.
You know, one thing I wanted to say, one thing I wanted to say, a lot of anti-callers,
Yes.
three-quarter of them sometimes don't make no sense, because I try to understand what do the callers in the program. The government, for once, we need to get rid of Rowley. And we need, but the problem is, for me, is I have a problem because three-quarters don't know what they want. To start with, to me, the only person who makes a lot of sense is Santa Cruz. He makes a lot of sense. He comes with points and facts. Because this is what I'm saying. My point this morning was that what you don't like about Bowley, what do people don't like about Bowley? Bowley, he treat women bad, he talk them nasty, he call them names, he call them all umbrella and moving and all kind of Bowley, so nasty.
Yeah, obnoxious to the core.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have somebody up there who is worse than that, but yet they like him, but don't like Bowley. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, well, I sense that. I sense it. That is why I wrote in the way I wrote back in the way that I did. Yes.
I come to a point you have to like the same thing. You
Yes.
cannot like this one, like
Yeah,
this one.
consistency is important. Yeah, for
Exactly.
reliability and for integrity. Yeah, I agree.
And one more thing is this. Think about it. I remember clearly when Obama won election, people in Trinidad were jumping for joy and they were dancing in the street and all. It's beat president, the double president. I don't know how you call Trinidad president, but and now you have a woman who is biracial, half Indian, half Jamaican, and Obama was half black, half white. But yet they don't like, they love Obama, but they have a problem with Britain man. I don't understand why because he wanted Indian.
Yeah, no, that is human nature, and those of us who live long enough, like you and I, to have this multitude and variable experience, will know that in human circumstance, what appears to be is not always is. A lecturer told me that.
And one thing again, I want to call somebody tomorrow and ask them, when they go to hell and come back, let me know what it looks like. Because everybody talks about drowning, even when they go to hell and God and Jesus or something for him, how we know what Jesus is going to give him, who's going to give him. So if somebody could tell me when they go hell and come back, tell me where they go and how they went, I will give you that.
Well, yes, and it falls smack in my concern when, of course, people say that you must strap a bomb belt or a belt of bombs around you, and you go and stay in a crowd and who people you don't know who are similar to you, have families, etc., blood just as you, and explode it in the name of Allah, but the Imam tells you to go and do it. And then, of course, he said you'll get 7 virgins on the other side. Well, my simple response to that is that, well, listen, if that is utopia, after I did that, then you go first. Rest assured, I'm coming. But you go and blow up yourself. No, but they will never do it. I bet you they stop the nonsense. Yeah.
And you know what I really dislike about some people stop
Yeah.
Jesus. Everything is Jesus. Brother, we don't know what Jesus or Muhammad or Latin or whatever we don't do that. Why
Yeah.
do they people? But Jesus has this macaroni, especially in Central. Tell Central stop using the word Jesus and brother. We don't know that people, we don't know.
Yeah.
But in front of us, we don't know what's ahead of us.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Nobody never lived to return. To say so. Even the man, even the man who, of course, died on the cross and came back to us, he never told us how there was, and he's still to come to tell us.
But that's what I'm saying. But people, but I said, I am a guy who's 62 years old, and I
Right.
live in Japan all my life. I support my family and my brother taught me school. Okay.
Okay. All right. Great.
To buy family. And this is something. I talk about what I see and how much I read.
Yeah.
I don't talk about somebody tell me why hear something from TV,
Right.
or I see something on the news. I talk to what is real.
Yeah.
I talk real stuff. I don't talk no fake stuff.
Yeah.
I read this for 40 years now.
Yeah. But one of the things that we as human beings, particularly those who want to real influence on public opinion, we speak so glibly and so loosely that really and truly they know they are exaggerating They know that is hyperboles. They know that is grandiloquent talk, but continue to do so maybe for personal aggrandizement and to get acceptance. You know, there are a number of what I would say reasons for so doing is usually some personal agenda, and we have had too much of that, particularly in the political arena. Of course, it is called in politics propaganda for the more specific. Yeah.
I believe honestly, because I'm telling you something. You see, Kamala and UNC party, and you guys, you need to attack the youth. Need to attack the youth. In order to win the election in any country, if you know how they use backing you up, you can tell something like that. You cannot do it.
Right.
Right? You cannot do it. Because I'll tell you something. That's why Paul and tell all that Kamala Harris is going to win the election. Because she raised $150 billion in 2 weeks, and this is telling something.
Oh, yeah, there are indicators here, there are signs that are irrefutable, that one cannot ignore. I agree with you. But you're in the situation, you know, so you would know.
65% of the people who gave her money, 65% of the people who got money, it's full-time people who didn't donate money.
Okay.
Never voted in life.
All right.
Never give no party money, 65%. You want to get that? You know you're on the right track.
All right.
And that's what tells them people that a lot of Canadians don't know what they want. And that's why we're going to have problems to get rid of that money. Because they do not stand up for what they want.
Yeah. No, I agree. That capricious and whimsical and irrational and square peg in round hole arguments and justification for something that is clearly pellucidly wrong. Blind people could see it, but there seems to be a difficulty in people coming to that realization.
I hope they come to that realization really fast.
Yeah. Well, they will have to for the benefit, for the improvement and advancement of themselves, and particularly the youth and the children of this country.
Very true.
Yeah. Well, thanks to you as well, and I thank you for responding in the way that you have, in more ways than one. So we really appreciate your contribution and, of course, your comments. Yes.
And by the way, too, people, I have a lot. I'm telling you, my family is the most biracial family in the world. I told you that I have family married to Australian, Egypt, Portuguese, Cape Verdean, English, India, you name it, Cape Verdean. My family is a Kalaluma.
like most of us. Like many of us, I should say.
I'm saying this. My sister-in-law is black.
Yeah.
Sister-in-law is Indian. Sister-in-law is Portuguese. Cape Verdean. Sister. And Kalaluma family. The one to come and
Nothing
talk about race, I don't get very upset.
Okay then. All right then. Yes, thanks. I'm just taking a call in the background here. Are you saying that you're not hearing the callers? All right. All right. All right. I probably have the volume too low on that. So thanks very much for that intervention. All right. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much. All right. All right. And call back if there is still a problem. Our monitoring system inside here has just been activated. Okay then. All right. So yes. People, of course, those of you who would have had difficulty in that contribution, but a sterling contribution as per usual. Of course, a very pragmatic, practical person. He says that he is, and that no one can fool him from the perspective that if it is my experience, why must I, in other words, push my hand in fire to know it burns? When you would have seen dozens of persons either lost their lives, all burnt up to the point of disfiguration, or you would see property destroyed by fire, and then you go just to know or just to believe somehow that it doesn't burn, or you are an exception, even though other human beings would have passed through that tragedy. You go and push your hand, and only for it to be burnt, and probably worse than the example that you would have been exposed to, and yet still not believe So I take that point of view. That is a point of view. Of course, there are others who may believe in abstractism, things that you really can't feel and touch, and they nestle their belief there. And of course, the example of the imam and the follower, the what do they call them, the Islamists, revolutionists, they call themselves, and sometimes they call themselves jihadists. But the imam tells them a little strap a bomb around you and then go in a crowd who you don't know and a human being like yourself, and then ignite it because you have 7 virgins on the next side. That will be utopia and make you happy. Well, I will simply tell such a imam, do it first. I am committed. I am a believer, but you go first. I bet you, as I say, they stop the nonsense. But let's go straight. Because it's nonsense. You sending people to kill themselves for your cause. It's always somebody else's cause. Rowley and they no different, except that they ain't giving you a bomb. But certainly they are killing us by way of their economic policies, their agricultural policies, their foreign policies, their educational policies, their national security policies, their health policies, their social development policies, their sports and cultural policies, and we can go on and on. So it is clear, and that is the experience. And people are aching, they are experiencing pain and all kinds of what I consider to be changes. And the paradigm shift that is required, of course, is the removal of that impediment. What is that impediment? The common denominator is, of course, Rowley and his vicious, evil, incompetent, impotent, very vindictive, and, of course, power-hungry, power-mongerers PNM administration. Let's go, of course, some time ago, we had Miss Arima, and I respect her knowledge. I respect the fact that she's bilingual at minimum. I cannot speak Spanish, far less to understand it in entirety, except, of course, if a person making a gesture for me and telling me, well, look, pointing that I am in the middle of the road and a motor car is coming, and they're pointing at it, and whatever word they use for car, I know for sure is to get out of the way. Whatever language that may be spoken in. I just want to make the point that there are some things that are so universal that there's no need to learn a language about. It's just the action and utilizing your 5 senses. That being as it may, I am referring, of course, to her bring it to our attention, all of us, the situation with the OAS and Rowley's obligation to tell us what transpired, but they have not. They have not told us. They have kept it a secret. But of course, you have Stuart Young probably getting a stint as Prime Minister. And once again, this Prime Minister, demonstrating his level of hypocrisy and his insincerity, a dishonest man. Because he was critical of Kamala Persad-Bissessar, giving more than one person a stint in the office of Prime Minister when she was out of the country. And here it is, Stuart Young has one now. Of course, he has succeeded Imsbert, regardless whether or not Imsbert is out of the country or not, and for what reason we don't know. But the fact is that he has made another change, and a different individual occupied the office of Prime Minister when he is out of the country. So therefore, it belies, it collapses the argument, as we have seen with respect to his frequent flyer admonition and castigation of Kamala Persad-Bissessar in terms of her flying out of the country. Well, he has broken that record. What other records he has broken in terms of what he would have said at one time that gave him a moral and ethical position at that time, and today, of course, it has totally collapsed and is now threatening to undermine him. Knowing full well, everybody knows that he's a blasted rapscallion, he's dishonest, and despicable. Oh yes, of course, one can talk about the occupation of the diplomatic center. He was strident, he was vitriolic, he was upset that Kamala Prasad Bissessa had her sister, I believe it was, chaperoning her from time to time as a woman, which of course was understandable. And I'm sure that she's not going to make that mistake now, having regarded to the fact that what Rowley was really bellowing is that he saw in her that which is in him. Let me repeat that. Rowley saw in Kamala that which is in him, meaning that with a high degree of specificity, that he wanted to be where she is and do what he is doing now. That is to say, worse than those things that he was claiming Kamala was doing when she was Prime Minister. And when one looks at it now and compare it, we realize that it's not just chalk and cheese, but we recognize that it was a man who felt that he should be there and then doing the things that she was doing, but much more than that, to the point of total shambalism. In other words, worse and worse and worse. That is the superlative that you have to ascribe to Dr. Rowley and his shenanigans and his dishonesty and his dishonorable behavior. After all, when dishonorable men, as he has demonstrated, seek honorable office, the only outcome could be dishonorableness. The only problem here is that you take some time to recognize. And don't tell me you don't understand that, you sycophants, because look how long the German people took to recognize Hitler for what he really was. But by that time, it was so damn late that it triggered a whole Second World War, 1939 to 1945. And of course, damaged the existing then world order and ushered in a new world order with, of course, the United States dominating. Let's go straight, of course, to the line and trying to get to that video about the OAS. But before that, you have to obviously give way to the caller. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
LENNOX Smith.
Yes.
Pleasant good night to you, too, and everybody else on the line.
Yes.
LENNOX Smith.
Yes.
I'm coming a little late, so I ain't catch what you were saying from the beginning. But I want to find out something.
Go ahead.
Where is the latest with the Auditor General?
Well, I got that from a caller in the States, the first call we got in. And my understanding is that there's some move that is afoot by the government. That is why probably Imsbert is out of the country and out of sight. And when you see that, I always say there's something sinister happening with this government. Well, we are seeing it manifested. So I don't have the information, so I cannot claim so to do. But the source, I think, and then you are asking that particular question since you said you came in late. You obviously might not have heard the first caller who said that there is something afoot relating to the removal of the Auditor General.
Because I heard earlier on today on TCN Heavy, when I don't know who it is, reach out to Anna Logan. When I asked what going on with her, they say she on some holiday and like they're swaying a temporary one.
Oh.
I don't ever say they did that. But the Auditor General on some vacation, and that is always said.
Oh, that's
so
it. All right, well, we'll find out.
If you could go to Anna Logan and find out what's going on there, because based on what is I hearing there today, this thing, it's dark and it's sinister and it's evil.
Okay. I certainly will. I think I have a number for him. Maybe I might call him tonight and see what.
Yeah. Because this thing, LENNOX, this thing, right now, we just heading in hell alone. You know? We go end up in the bottom of hell. You know?
Yes. Indeed.
LENNOX, doctor, not listening.
Yes, indeed. You wouldn't believe for the first time I'll try to make a call out and see whether or not you will hear what is happening with respect to that. Before I play that video, I have a number here for Anand Ramlogan, so I'll be calling him now. Hello, good night. Is this the Honorable Anand Ramlogan? This is LENNOX Smith here from the ground report and on the corridor transformation right now. Is this Anand Ramlogan?
This is Ramlogan Hardware.
Oh, Ramlogan, oh, the wrong. All right, okay. No, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was looking for Anand Ramlogan, the attorney at law.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right.
All right. Yes, indeed. And that's a person that I know as well. Probably that's why I have him in my archive. Let me just check again and see if I have the Anand Ramlogan. I have him here. Ramlogan. Let's go to the line in the meantime. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hello, good night.
Good night. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Lennox, listen, I know coming, actually, I know coming.
Yes.
Hey, what happened now? I saw today, right? Some a guy called Gary Peters, who is the Auditor General, Assistant Auditor General.
All right. Yes.
That is swaying today. Right? So my question is, what become of the current Auditor General, and is the Constitution allow such a behavior like that? Seeing that we have a current Auditor General?
Well, we'll see, because for all intents and purposes, there cannot be two. So obviously, it may be some acting appointment, but again, not to take away the undermining nature and the slipshod nature and the criminalistic behavior of this government, because we saw it when the substantive president would have left. We had the removal of a sitting governor of the central bank. So don't put anything beyond Rowley and they, except of course after the elections, when of course they will have to face criminal and civil actions.
Well, listen now.
Go ahead.
Because remember, you have an issue here with this Imbooth,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
An issue of $3.4 billion,
Yeah.
right? That he have to answer about. No, I get to understand now. It's not $500 billion them fellas and them spend, this government spend, then spend over $600 billion,
Yeah.
You know, is that? And nothing is working in the country, or you only getting us that old talk and us that nonsense. And I saw the news early on tonight where the Chinese looking one, we name is
Young. Acting Prime Minister.
Yeah, he gave stuff at A, right? But I should have to tell the reporter why didn't just put 2 S to that. You understand? That's the good he get, right? So we in real trouble here in this country, Yeah. This is a real sinister evil government, boy.
Yes.
These people and them run this country down to the ground and still coming to grade themselves. The another one who I saw did something similar was the current police commissioner. She gave herself an excellent grade. So it seems like they have a particular pattern about them.
Yeah, they have a proclivity, a propensity, inclination to, of course, promote themselves, but they're really sufferers from an inferiority complex. So I'm sure that they know the line to themselves. And if they're that good, then it means that we are in serious trouble.
Yeah, now listen now. When you see the retribution that God's had fallen them, so Lennox, trust me, they would have wished they never born,
Oh yes.
You see what they do to this country and to innocent people?
Yeah.
Because the people not aware, you just weaponize yourself against a nation unsuspecting.
Yeah.
No warning.
Yeah.
No nothing. Huh?
Yeah.
Boy, they will have to answer to God for that, boy. For your born this wicked evil PNM, boy. Start God.
Yeah, with no compunction and no compassion and no remorse. That is how dangerous these people are. I'm seeing another number that I have. No, I don't have a number as such. I have a email, it looked like, connected to Anand Ramlogan. So I'll try to get that in my archives. I don't have a direct. That Ramlogan is a hardware person that I recorded on my phone, because he has been. I told him, he is second to Pandey in terms of his wit. I've not encountered such a witty individual except Pandey, so I put him in that category, and he felt, of course, elated to be exalted to that level. But that being as may, let's go straight, of course, into the situation with the OAS.
This is a special corridor transformation news item. The Organization of American States, OAS, Permanent Council
was one vote short of passing a resolution to demand that Venezuelan electoral authorities publish the minutes of each voting table, which would prove there was no fraud when the incumbent Nicolas Maduro had been lawfully chosen for the 2025 to 2031 term. The initiative, put forward by the United States, Argentina, Paraguay, Chile, and Uruguay, failed to reach the minimum of 18 endorsements, with a final tally of 70 each polling station. In addition to a comprehensive verification of the results be carried out in the presence of independent observation organizations to guarantee the transparency, credibility, and legitimacy of the results. The draft resolution also mentioned that it is an absolute priority to safeguard fundamental human rights in Venezuela, especially the right of citizens to demonstrate peacefully without reprisals, while stressing the importance of protecting and preserving all equipment used in the electoral process. The projected document also expressed the OAS solidarity with the Venezuelan people and asked Maduro's regime to guarantee the security of diplomatic facilities and personnel residing in Venezuelan territory, including those requesting asylum in such facilities. Those voting in favor were Argentina, Canada, Chile, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, United States, and Uruguay. Abstentions: Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Grenada, Honduras, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia. Not participating: Dominica, Mexico, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago.
That was a special corridor transformation news item.
Yes, people, I thought we should look at that. Clearly, it is a situation that weren't told to us. We are none the wiser. And right here on the corridor, of course, you are able to make your own assessment to have in regard. I'm going to play it again for those of you who may either came on late or who are yet to have an appreciation as to what we are talking about there. And it has to do, once again, with the fact that, yes, of course, I think that the lady who introduced that topic to me, which of course attracted my attention, is none other than the person who is on the line now. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hello, Lennox.
Hey, how are you
come in now how you play that.
Yes, I realize that.
Let's talk.
It was intended for you to come in. All right.
And you called my name, but I was waiting.
Yes.
You was trying to get to
credit
something.
where credit is due, not like Rowley and them. A blasted set of vipers, indolence and incompetence. And like so young suddenly giving himself an A grade and the next one giving himself excellence. So no, you must, that is mediocrity you are promoting. We promoting here actually the advancement based on meritocracy. Go ahead, my dear.
Yes, so what I'm saying, Rowley and they won't answer to that organization, you know. They won't answer how we asking question about that because they're afraid the OAS. That is why I always saying, let us see how we could put him before that organization. And if you listen to the information carefully, you would hear the report saying that countries in the region put Venezuela before the OAS so that they could have this vote.
Yes.
People keep blaming America. America is not only America, it's other countries as well.
Yeah, I'm going to play it again.
And
so
they act swiftly.
Yeah.
They act swiftly. The elections was on the 28th, and by the 31st, they were able to gather the organization. So this is what I was always saying. And people cannot understand these things. And some fail to understand because they like upfront and to be noticed. There's be so.
Now let's not go there now.
You know,
everybody has their abilities.
Inform and other things, but they don't want to pay attention to that.
Yeah, I hear you.
You understand?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, this is one strategy we could take. We don't really have to wait for election because we see it now where crucial
Yes.
with the voting. So if we could cause some massive protests, and the organization hear our cries.
Yeah.
We have lots of things we could complain about because the opposition not going forward. People should see now the opposition there was even in touch with the OAS. This is why they had asked for observers, but he chose who he wanted to bring in.
Yeah, just
right?
as what Rowley will do.
People
we know Rowley will do that
who
as
is
well.
his allies.
Yeah. But Rowley has no such luck. I can assure you of that. And nobody in the world will want to ally. But there's one development that I want to show you how Rowley is just as Maduro in terms of manipulative, just to stay in office. But go ahead.
You were saying that Rowley don't have such luck? Luck in what?
In terms of influencing the individual observers. That's why he opted to keep them out, as was the case in 2020. But he will have no such luck by trying to influence the OAS representatives, the Commonwealth Secretariat, independent observers, even CARICOM observers. He may sway some, but you have the Carter Foundation that is very always in elections in the Caribbean. So he will have some. So that is why he is planning right now, I'm sure, how to create some kind of diversion, and that may well include some emergency, some manufactured emergency. We saw him, of course, attempting to test the waters the other day by saying that some group of individuals, his own spy agency, is attempting to generate a violent coup to undermine and to overthrow his government.
Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, so
somebody care about anybody care about he? He
That's
only looking for sympathy.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, but he's testing the water as well.
And even if they turn around to do him that, which is things his friend next door that say somebody always want to kill him.
Yeah.
That's how they just talk. That's how they just plan. Right? They just be on the phone day and night talking and planning strategy for we insider here. Because if you check something with CARICOM, they so broken for gas. Is Rowley helping them out through CARICOM because the gas they used to get from the gang man next door, they can't get it, so they have to vote, in favor.
I will play something later
or not vote,
make the connection.
Because if they go against, remember what Rowley tell you, they will kill you politically.
Yeah.
Don't doubt it, They swear an allegiance and they have to keep up.
Yes.
I will hold up for now because I think I hear the phone ring and I will come back in.
Yeah, thank you very much.
If I could.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Of course, very, 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 very exciting times. Knowledge really and truly is a freedom fighter in itself and a motivator for freedom. Knowledge, yes. The more you are exposed, the more confident you become, and the more aware of your surroundings, and therefore can take evasive and or appropriate action when it becomes necessary. Because timing in this world, of course, is a factor as well. We have a limited time to spend on this earth as biological beings, but that makes it even more crucial that we make the right decision if we have to understand that there is a quality of life and standard of living all of us aspire to, and not Rowley and they alone must, of course, take the lion's share of the resources of the country, and then, of course, claim that they are not so doing, and worse yet, take it and not only satisfy themselves, the friends, the family, through nepotism, cronyism, etc., but also, of course, dispossess those who rightfully are not asking for much, but they would not even bat an eye or give an iota of concern to the less fortunate in the society. We have a duty as a people, those of us who are conscious, those of us who are altruistic, those of us who are patriots, and those of us who clearly are engaged in work to save or to assist our fellow man. After all, the psalmist, not the psalmist really, but the good, what I consider to be community development, or should I say community song. We would say that, recite that very often when we are in the community council circle. Long before Rowley, long before others, we had that as a way to bring communities together, called community councils, and community centers came as a consequence of that. And one of the songs says that if I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. I'm sure many of you who would have passed through that system or have some association thereof would remember those very echoing songs, those songs that are very, should I say, inviting and at the same time indelible. That being as it may, as I said, that let us quickly analyze. Oh no, let me get back to that particular clip once again to play it for you. For those of you who just came, yes, the caller talked about the OAS. Yes, the OAS did meet in emergency session to do what? To discuss the developments in Venezuela, and it is still going on. The opposition are not resting their laurels, even though, of course, violence have been allocated, have been pitted, have been unleashed on them. But they insisted that Maduro lost by a huge margin, 70 to 30%. That is not just huge. That is not just overwhelming. I mean, that is a landslide from any imagination or calculation. But he controls are willing to undermine the democratic process, segments of the army in that country, segments of law enforcement. I cannot believe that in any country all will be succumbing to this, what I consider to be dastard and evil and wicked, undermining, atrocious as it is. You see, because I am saying so with our own experience here. The reason why we were able to know about the intervention of Rowley, even though he denied it in the beginning, the liar that he is, the mendacious individual that he is, that he didn't interfere with the shortlist that came from the Police Service Commission. Or indeed, he wasn't aware on the one hand, and yet still is his friend, and called his friend when he heard of the fake oil matter. And of course, the most recent and most glaring of them all, in my view, or probably each one, there are two others that may have equal standing or status, when that is the Brent Thomas matter, when of course nobody could say who authorized the police to go to Barbados and kidnap a citizen of this country in another country. That you only read about that in spy novels, or indeed the Vincent Nelson matter, where of course $10 million was paid to a person in a criminal matter against Anand Ramlogan and the learned counsel Ramdeen, to set them up so that Rowley could have his pernicious and evil way. And as he was saying before the revelation, and I'm making the points very specific, and I thank those whose desk these matters come, because Rowley and they cannot go into the police service and do what the police are doing clearly on their behest or on their instructions, as is the case in the health system, as is the case, of course, in the Ministry of Finance, as is the case of the Auditor General's office. You understand where I'm coming from? You understand the trend? As is the case in the Ministry of Education. There are persons with a conscience who say, no, that is wrong. And that is why the only way Kamala Prasad Mr. Sunday could have found out and bring it to the public that Vincent Nelson was bribed by Rowley and they with $10 million, and in circumstances you still is baffling. It demonstrates how inhumane these people are, and how self-serving they are, and how atrocious they are, and how they are prepared, of course, to throw. And I'm being mild here by talking about throwing people under the bus. No, these fellas will watch you and with an open eye and throw you over a precipice, knowing full well that at the end of that exercise is broken bones, splattered spleen and liver and lungs and so on, and of course broken and splint bones. But they don't care. They act as though they are inhuman. They are inhumane and act, of course, with a high degree of barbaristic evil. Let's go to the lines. Of course,
What's wrong with the phone?
a pleasant good night. Welcome.
Lennox,
Hey.
good night.
Good night, man.
I know saying, I wonder if something wrong with the phone. Lennox,
Hey.
you know how long it took me.
Hey.
You know how long it took me to find. Thanks, Sharon Bicky, for sending it for me. Here, no, man.
Hey.
And you know how long it taken me to
But
just
that's all right. That's all right.
finally get
Perseverance
on.
is virtue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man. But I got on when you were talking about Rowley's comparison to Kamala Persad-Bissessar.
Yes.
Right?
And his hypocrisy.
Yeah, and she was a frequent traveler, and no, she was a sukiya. She flying all over the place.
Yeah,
she
look at
hot
that
foot.
hogwash.
Yeah,
Yes.
she hot foot. But when and he talk about all her family going to the diplomatic center and eating out all the food, drinking out all the juice and eating out all the cereal and milk. His daughter living there.
Yes. His
With her
entire
family.
Extended family.
Yeah.
Living there.
But that's okay.
They are squatters
And every
of government.
time all his outside children come, they're staying there.
Yeah.
But that is okay. That is okay. What is good for one is not good for the other. Right? That is why you see this morning, Lennox, I was talking about disrespect. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
Right? It does not matter who you are. But what bothered me is that how it is that they could stand up and talk about Rowley's disrespect of Kamala Persad-Bissessar, but could acknowledge and disrespect Kamala Harris.
Yes. I hear you.
You all have no respect for women.
Yeah.
That is my bone of contention, you know,
and
Lennox.
I noted
Me in
it- I
business,
noted
who
it
is
this
democratic.
morning. Yeah. It's not that you are you are expressing any feminist agenda. It's natural. It's a human nature thing
Exactly.
to be cordial
The
and to be
disrespect.
magnanimous. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
And you know what is hurtful? With their mouth full of scriptures and their heart full of hate.
Yeah. I think that
They
was well
sit
said.
in church.
Yeah.
They're quoting all over Facebook. They're quoting Bible verses. They're quoting this, that, and the other, right? But yet still you could say that about a woman,
Yeah.
that she slept her way to the top. I want to tell them, God ain't going to ask you about Kamala Harris sin or my sin, you know. God is going to ask you about yours. You can't account for my sin. Everybody accounts for their own sin, Lennox.
Yes.
Right? And when you study all the skeletons and rattling in other people's closet, when you check your own, they love to point fingers.
So true. They've seen others. That
They
which
love
is
to
in
call
them.
people
Yeah,
names.
yeah.
And when Lennox, let me tell you something, eh? And it's always say, I don't come with breaks, you know. I don't come with breaks. You mash my corn once, man, I push him back all the time on you, you know.
That's right.
It have no holding back with me. None whatsoever. Because the minute I give you, you feel that I am backing down and I am getting soft, you're going to start again. And that is not a chance I'm prepared to take with nobody. I don't care who you are. And this disrespect of people, this disrespect especially of women. Imagine sometimes up to this morning, I said it for Mikey. I said it for both Mikey and Andy. Some of the nasty things that were being said about me on the chat. But you know what I've all boiled it down to?
Uh-huh.
They probably heard their father speaking to their mother like that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So they don't know better.
Yeah, in one of the issues when you are training college as a teacher, they talk about the term and ask people to extrapolate it. The child is the father of the man. And I used to grapple with that, but I realized that it simply means that you are the product in adulthood, that which, of course, you were coined and fashioned during your formative years. Let me put it that way.
Right.
Yes.
And next thing they want to call you a bully, right? But ask yourself why. You are not going to bully me and get away with it. I'm going to push back on you.
Yes. Yes, and you ought to.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with Rowley.
Yeah.
You cannot come and bully Mrs. Pasabi Sessa. From Lennox, I don't know if you remember. It was 3 days after Mrs. Pasabi Sessa got into office. Rowley was call elections now.
Yeah.
Call elections now.
I remember very distinctly. And that is why I can make reference to all of the Hippocratic positions that he would have taken in the office. He saw in others that which is in him. The nasty man that he is. Yes.
Yeah. He judging people by his own actions.
Yes.
Get out of the way. Let us fix the country. 9 years later, you can't fix the country yet. You have made the country worse. You have made it worse. You took everything away that had people like comfortable, because you know why? Maybe he was not comfortable as a child growing up. Maybe he's still not even comfortable with all the wealth that he amassed. So you don't want anybody else to be comfortable.
Send these monsters to teach us.
Well, I want to tell Mr. Mr. tonight, that is none of your goddamn business. Because as long as Sharon is happy with how much I have outside and how much I have inside, Rowley's happy with that. At least what I had outside and what I have inside, they escape and they're alive.
Her words are slurred. She's falling all over the world. In the car, out the car.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I thought I should entice you.
I find that very interesting. Right? He was seeing the fault, every single fault with Kamala, everything the lady do. That you decided now, you sat down with that woman they call Patricia McIntosh. She was once the principal of St. Francois Girls' School. Right? She'd leave the teacher to jump into politics, stand up in Parliament and lied that the laptop program was not a good program. What it is today? What is it today, Lennox? The same bridge they dammed in 2020, they had to try to cross that bridge. And up to today, 4 years later, Lennox, they cannot even reach half of the bridge.
That's right. That's so true, man.
They cannot, the people, Lennox, I have no doubt that he's probably trying. If he's trying at all, right? But you see, because of his nasty mouth.
Let me interrupt here. When you blight, you know.
This is what I come into.
According to one person, when you blight and you're sour like Rowley, wet toilet paper just cut you, know.
Nothing is going to work.
Yeah. So that's what happened. The man is totally a charlatan.
Yeah, but my take on it was going to be the hole that you dig for Kamala, you could never you were going to keep falling in it all the time.
Yes.
You had the visually impaired man lying in Woodford Square in 2015. And everything that visually impaired man predicted, everything came to pass with Rowley. The man bewitched and blight. The man cannot see his way. And everything, Lennox, is going to fall around him.
Of course, it's crumbling.
You know why?
With a rapidity unprecedented. It's just as how he rose to power and office. Same way he's going down with a greater rapidity.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know why, Lennox? Because Kamala didn't deserve it.
That's right, exactly. Yes.
She was a good prime minister.
Karma. Yes.
And in my opinion, she will still make a good prime minister.
Of course. No
she
doubt.
was and before I leave, Lennox,
go ahead.
There's a video circulating with Victor Roberts.
Uh-huh.
Now, what I find very, very strange, right? Keith Rowley is in office for the last 9 years. You walked with a coffin, talking about all the murder. You talk about everything under the sun.
Yeah.
concerning the PNMI. But suddenly today now, well, I will call it today because I got it today, right?
I saw something
you are
in his
talking.
face, but I don't pay attention because well, just to give a background to the wider audience, we were the ones that discovered this fella. We were the ones down in Palo Seco when we saw his ability to articulate the grassroots elements in the deep south, having been, of course, displaced by the decision of Rowley to close down Petrotrin. And we thought he would have been a handsome let's say representative so that we could make the connection between North and South, we being in the North and here and his team being in the South. In fact, I want to tell you as well, I think it has to be said, that is in my office that the Irene Palaseco Development Committee, it's I who designed their program and I who, of course, constructed the constitution for them, that, of course, had him in his initial foray to, of course, begin to serve the people in a structured way. We did that. I did that. All right? So go ahead, my friend.
No, because I remembered, and when he went up, when he was going up for the elections, you all were very instrumental in pushing him.
Yes. We did that.
But you're coming now, right? As I said, you were the one that was raising all the issues, the crime issue, the this issue, the that issue. You didn't know it had a problem in the UNC until you sided with Paré. But you made a video talking now about everybody talking about what Rowley doing and what Rowley doing, but they're not seeing what's going on in our party. If you were a right-thinking person, right, would you have raised issues about what's going on in the party long before now? Why wait till you all were doing internals to talk about human trafficker, and a whole lot of
but
other
if you're saying there's a recent one, sorry to interrupt, because I would love to have you engage in much longer because we are in a revival mood. But
yes,
but if that is if what he is saying is so, then I wonder whether or not he's still an alderman. Is he still an alderman?
You see, this is my point, Lennox. This is my point, but I'll send it for you.
Okay.
I will send it for you.
Yeah,
my next bone of contention is you knew all what was going on, right? Why talk now? Why talk now? And why it is that we must not talk about Rowley, raise all the issues with Rowley, because it's not UNC destroying the country, Lennox. It is PNM that is destroying the country. And that is what I will call, in my closing comment, sanctimonious hypocrisy and situational ethics. Lennox, you have a good night, and we'll chat again tomorrow.
Yes, definitely. And call back if you have the time, because
no problem, Lennox.
I enjoy
no problem.
these types of conversation. It gives me an opportunity, of course, to really engage intellectually, practically, and otherwise, and to share. Because I learn from you out there, and you learn from me, and of course, as I said,
each one.
Education is a great liberator. And that is what we are doing in the process as well. But you are quite right, Mr. Santa Cruz, as you make your departure. In that, and I want to make the point that the elections are over. If what you are saying is so, based on, I have not seen the video, but if that is so, the elections are over. Why continue with this charade or this parade? I find it, but let me see it and then I'll make my own assessment. Pleasant good night, welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night, welcome.
Hello, Lennox.
Yes, good night.
I'm calling in again.
Yes.
I know if you're staying until 10.
Boy, the way how all are going, because it's after 9, long after, no, it's 15 minutes past, so maybe you never can tell. Let's go and see.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, you must watch your chat and things sometimes.
All right.
Sometimes people telling you something about, the volume and so, and I wanted to see what people has be texting.
All right.
to one another. Like just now, a rich text and say that, Spanish, she can't talk Spanish, right?
Yeah.
When the ground report Spanish speaker was talking, she couldn't translate what they were saying, and they put their emojis. A person by the name of Miss Anna Munsami,
I witnessed, but I witnessed, I witnessed you and the other Spanish-oriented person, different side of the political front as far as Venezuela is concerned. But I heard you were conversing.
Yes, but you wouldn't know, but I just answer him back.
I witnessed that.
Right? Yes. When he get upset when I talk, he just talk to me in Spanish, and I could handle him back.
Yeah, that's right. So I witnessed that, so nobody could convince me otherwise.
The bitch was send the thing on the chat can't understand what I'm telling the man, but they like to invent and make bacchanal. And when you answer them, when you answer, they're calling to tell and talking all kind of, way for you not to understand. But I does understand, and they had to complain to Mikey as they just tell you who does be texting them. Anytime anybody mess with me, whether on air or off air, I call you on your WhatsApp. Once I have your number, I should tell all I call Mikey on the WhatsApp and all what I tell him.
All right.
Yeah. So anytime, just as she now tell you that anytime anybody tell her anything, she afraid nobody that she will go at
you are that type of
I just the same. I don't complain. You know that, Lennox. I don't be ringing up you and your other talk show friends and them to complain about this. This one
everybody have a right to defend
long surname. I talking here now. You understand? Yeah. Because she does talk how much she want about me. So I don't talk. I talking now. People know that. And you know too, I don't call you during the day to talk no rubbish every minute to complain about people.
Yes.
You like to start something, finish it with me on the chat.
Right, yeah. So
and you can't be complaining to people. So what, you mad? You just look so mad.
All right, let's get to Venezuela. What you... I mean, come on, let's not deflect from what is important.
I forget what I want to say.
No problem.
I get so damn mad.
All right, that. Gather your thoughts and come back on. We may well go to 10 o'clock with the way how things are developing. But
all right, Lennox, but the show going good otherwise.
Yes, magnificent. Let me play Rowley's, of course, misogynic statements, among others, that of course Miss Santa Cruz made reference, and of course she did in fact went abroad before she came in domestically, and I think I should pull up the rear by showing how despicable this Prime Minister is, and share with you another position to show where he tries to be on the international stage, but he will not succeed in undermining our electoral process on this occasion because we know him. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night, Lennox.
Good night to you.
Plenty action on the
plenty action tonight. Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, I was gonna tell you. Did you hear that the Biden administration told Maduro that he could seek asylum in the United States if he turns himself in or relinquish power from Venezuela, because they did put a $15 million bond on his head.
Yes, there is
that, right?
A bounty on his head, yes. I mentioned that on a regular basis, yes.
Right, but a few days ago they gave him an option. They said, hey, you could come to America and you won't have to worry about anything. We'll give you amnesty when you come over here. And I was reading, it was in a newspaper in America, and I was reading it, and I was reading the comment section. I commented too. And the comment section, a lot of people were just writing about, how it's all about the oil and all the Americans just want the oil in Venezuela. They don't care about anything else, that the rich people in America is doing all of this. And some people were saying, well, Maduro is not a democratic leader and he should go, and all the cheating that's going on there. But when I was reading the comment, most people in America have no idea what's going on in Trinidad. They have no idea how we are impacted, all the other islands, by the influx of migrant Venezuelans seeking refuge in other countries.
Yeah, it's so sad. Yes.
And Yes, and I made a comment, and I said in my comment, I said the United States knows exactly, the government knows exactly what's going on because they're throwing money like rain as humanitarian effort to all the countries that are accepting Venezuelans. So did you know this country received millions of dollars, US dollars, to help the Venezuelans get into school, the children, to help them with housing and other needs that they acquire because other needs that they need really to survive here. And I was thinking, if only people in America knew what America does outside, without like the newspapers in America don't cover these stories. They don't show you poor villages that have a lot of Venezuelans living there with children, and then everybody's struggling for a job. And now because of the new arrival of these Venezuelans, it's chaotic. People are struggling right now. But what you're going to see, what you're going to hear here in this country is that Venezuelan labor is cheap and everything going good. But you're not seeing the other side of the impact this is having on us. The United States people are not seeing that. I think once they see it, they'll be horrified. Because in America, there are Venezuelans who seek asylum over there. They went through the route with the crusade, the caravan. Remember the caravan that went up to all the way through Panama, all the way up to Mexico, and then they went to the border?
Nicaragua, right up to Honduras, of Mexico, and then to the border.
Yeah. And as they kept going, they had to they got intercepted by gangs and stuff like that.
Yes.
But many of those migrants who went from Venezuela, who ended up like in Texas or parts of America where the border was, they're doing okay. They're settling in communities. They're getting welfare. They're getting clothes, shoes. They're doing okay now over there. Actually, great over there. Yeah. It's the ones that are not making it, that are coming to countries like ours that are really poor, because we do have poverty here.
Yeah.
That they're not really making. They're struggling to make it too.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is, my comment is that if we had a good border security, if we had people who did their jobs like the Coast Guard, if we had police officers who did their job and took it seriously, we would see change in this country.
Okay.
And we would our standard of living would be better. But I feel I'm gonna take Lennox. You could interrupt me and tell me to stop if you want.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I certainly will. But go ahead. I share. Incidentally, you are saying exactly what my thoughts are. So go ahead vicariously. Yeah.
All right. I want to explain something to people. When you live in other countries, right? Like say other first superpower countries, like in England or America. When you're driving through neighborhoods, right? It's not like Trinidad, where you drive and you see a big fancy house and then you see a shack next to it. Yeah. Or you're driving and you're seeing dilapidated pavements, like in Madras Road, for example. There's a section of Madras Road where there are no manhole covers. And all of the covers have plywood, those just pieces of wood or galvanized put over it, or protruding from the top of it, like stuck down the bottom.
Sure is not some of those reclaimers, those steel operators who steal manhole covers?
Yeah, some of them were imported Spain, You hear about that? But
there was a flurry, just as how they would have steal cable and so on. They target these manhole covers, and boy, they end up in these scrapyards and so on for a hustle, quick dollar. But go ahead, I just want to let you
Meanwhile, when those are stolen, the consequences are that people don't have access to the pavement. You have to walk on the dangerous roads, or at night time you could fall in a manhole and hurt yourself. Yeah. And that's happened to people in my village.
Yeah.
Especially during flood time.
Yes,
you fall in the walking and you fall inside a man and your whole leg break up,
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is that when you look at our country and many of
civil consciousness.
And many But if you look at our country and many of the other Caribbean islands, you'll notice something, that it's not really about quality of life or standard of living or like improving anything else. It's all about rich and poor. Because the rich people who have jobs, who making money, don't give a crap about the poor. They'll throw a few hampers at them here and there.
Yeah, they live isolated, don't think about... they live isolated, if you want to call it. Like recluse.
It's all...
Yeah, recluse.
It's all about... it's all about how much money you have. You could be living in a crappy neighborhood where the schools are horrible, but you have a big mansion and you're driving a nice Lexus, what you call it, Ferrari, Prado. You have the most expensive vehicles. Your house like a real jail because you cut you insulated yourself now, but you are so content. You can't walk the streets at night. You can't hang out in the night because you risk dying, but you are happy in your house and you are content with things working the way it is. Even though you work for the government or you have the power to change the system, you wouldn't do that because that's what is it? The rich people say, what did the Pope said something? It was like, you keep the people praying and I'll keep them living in poverty. Keep them in religion. I'll keep them fooled into believing that they are doing that their lives are improving, and it's not.
That they can metamorphosize and improve their circumstance by opportunities.
And our Prime Minister lives
more than anything else.
Yeah, our Prime Minister follows that motto. He wants to keep us living in poverty while the rich continue to make more money.
Yeah.
And that's his mantra in his head. Yeah. He feels that property tax, when they talk about property tax, you live in an area where nobody has a deed, but everybody have a certificate of comfort. And that certificate of comfort, even though you're living in that house, it's like almost you don't have legal ownership of that property. So you have to depend on somebody else who's managing all of that.
But mind you, even though you don't have ownership, you got to pay property tax because you're in possession.
Well, exactly. That's
the
true
irony
too.
of it.
But
Yes.
the property is,
they want to extract every cent for themselves, but of course will not give you title, so that you could go to the bank and take out a loan and send your children to school, and of course a bill probably something that would be much better than what you can afford at this point in time, simply because you have access, because you have collateral.
Right, and the property tax is arbitrary. It's like, oh, we want to know how many bedrooms you have, how many bathrooms you have, because we're going to tax you now on how many people living, like how big your house is and how much it would cost to rent. Yes. And that is so stupid. Yeah. That is the dumbest assessment I've ever heard in my life, because you just can't randomly go to a poor neighborhood where there's a couple of big mansions and people drive and say, oh, look, they have plenty of money in that neighborhood, when half the people living in poverty.
Yeah.
How do you the property tax should be equal across the board in our community? And also, when people doing renovations in their houses in America, if you're building your bathroom and you're extending your house and you're putting a bathroom in your house, you have to get a permit. Yeah. Because that all has to do with water and garbage and sewer.
So they're paying you.
We don't care about that.
You have to pay them. There you have to pay them, or they encourage you to improve your circumstance, your physical circumstance. They encourage you to do that, and of course that is good advancement. That is development.
Yes.
That is moving to the next level. But however, you do so at the tax that I would impose as a consequence of your ambition. A tax you for being ambitious.
Yeah. But down here, anybody could build a big house next to their own house and nothing. You don't need permits or anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You could extend your whole house and add 5 bathrooms and nobody cares.
Yeah.
If Town and Country wouldn't care. Nobody care. And they would even come. They will drive around and they will see construction going on. Nobody will write up anything or say anything or investigate anything because they don't care. They go to work, they get a check, and they come back home.
Yeah.
It just baffles me that we allow
we
this kind of...
we have to vent these things because, it's a very serious thing. And when like-minded people, maybe in their little cocoon, believe that they are in that world by themselves and that no one else is seeing what they are seeing, with interactions like these, you realize that you're not alone. And I think that is good because human beings are gregarious animals. They live of course, in groups, and they have similar circumstance when the physical world is either constructed in such a way by other human beings or naturally against their best interests.
I want to just say something and then I'll hang up. But in Trinidad, right? Yeah. I was taking some classes at IVA. I have a law degree from America. I was taking some classes at IVA, an educational school here, just tutoring classes. But I didn't know what tutoring classes were. I thought these were classes that were taught by people from England, and it was you go into a study session and you're getting everything, but it was just a tutoring class. Anybody could do that nonsense online now. So, and you're paying thousands of dollars to sit with a bunch of people who memorize all the family papers because all the exams they're giving you all the family went to the same school online. And then, you have 1 million lawyers, 1,000 lawyers in one village. Well, what I'm saying is that when I was taking these classes, there was a white professor, and they gave a seminar, and he came and he was talking about some law, because it was contract law or something like that.
Right.
But he said, in the beginning of his speech, he said, I love Trinidad. We love America. England loves Trinidad, the students here, because they just memorize everything. Good learners, they memorize everything. And that's what I was thinking. It's all based on memory here. That's why we cough up money, all these online programs, and we don't, all these online programs don't really teach us the reality of what's going on. We're learning stuff from another country.
When you go places like Japan and some of the Scandinavian countries, it's a different experience because it's all about it's all about what you like, your inclinations, even from age 5 or earlier, and then of course you grow up to be a true specialist and contributing to society.
And then the jobs, the jobs of when you graduate, there are jobs available. We're going to track you. We're going to place you in a job. We're going to see how big the law. But you don't get that here in Trinidad.
Yeah, with the education system in Japan and these Scandinavian countries. In fact, a teacher is lauded. He's seen as equivalent to what we will call a priest in this country. And well paid as well.
Lumpkin is begging for repair school. Schools have rats in the ground, snakes in the ceilings. Mosquitoes, infestation. People spraying next door to the school, and kids are being.
Yeah, that's all.
But I hear you for I wanted to say one more thing. But in our country, in Trinidad, and even parts of the Caribbean, our leaders see us as failure. They feel us that we deserve what we're getting. We should deserve to live in poverty because we're too greedy. He calls us greedy and ungrateful. That's what Camille Robinson looks at, how they look at us. But when we go to other countries and we're exposed, we soar. We know how many West Indian people are soaring and living like millionaires abroad because they got exposed and they had opportunities.
Yeah. No,
if we had the opportunities here, we would build on that. We would build great neighborhoods. Our schools, people would show to work up every day and make sure the schools are great. Police would do their job. The roads would be fixed. Pavements would be walkable, and there would be regulations and zoning laws enforced.
Yeah.
But you don't see that here. It's anything goes, man, and it's frustrating.
The leaders believe that they have devil-given right to be where they are. And that elitist quality and symbol is not to be breached, or that ceiling is not to be reached by anybody else unless they are invited in. And of course, part and parcel of that, what I consider the clannish behavior.
When our leaders promote this, they're promoting an elitist point of view from a white perspective and a white French group. Because I'll tell you, there's a guy, Trini Surfer, right? And all he talks about, he shows is the most beautiful parts of Trinidad, all of the rich places where you can go and get the best food. And every so often you'll never see him in poor villages or showing the struggle of the people. He just wants to showcase how fantastic things are.
Yes.
Come to Trinidad and travel. But who benefits from all of that?
All right.
Do we benefit?
Just remember, I said up to 9 o'clock is 9:30 now, eh?
Okay, yeah. All right, let me go. All right.
Yes.
All right, Leonard.
All right,
all right, I'll let you take some. Okay, bye.
Yeah, we have more time again, man. Eat little and let's live long, according to the saying. But certainly, I want to just make the point before I go to those videos. Or let me go to the videos first. I want to, of course, take you back to what Ms. Santa Cruz was saying with respect, of course, to the hypocrisy of Dr. Rowley, seeing in others that which is in him, or wanting to do that which he saw in others, where he had no opportunity. Now that he has gotten the opportunity, including, of course, by undermining his own boss. I talk about Patrick Manning and saying all kind of nasty and evil things about him. He, Rowley himself, being, of course, let's say the epitome, the quintessential, not just narcissist, but criminal. He is a pedophile and a rapist. Let's not waste time with that. But let's hear what he has to say about women.
In the West, young girls behaving in a manner
like hyenas in the African jungle. Parents who breed monsters at home and send these monsters to teach us.
Just imagine that, people.
I want to tell Mr. Prasad Bisota tonight, that is none of your goddamn business. Because as long as Sharon is happy with how much I have outside and how much I have inside, Rowley's happy with that.
That's the Prime Minister of this country.
And what I have inside, they escape and they're alive.
Her words are slurred. She's falling all over the world. In the car, out the car. No. No man in the
That's the Prime Minister for you, my people.
No man in the my bottom like that. I mean, there's some people who know they're getting on, you know.
Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC go and put that bill where the monkey put the nuts.
A most vulgar and outrageous radio program.
Well, of course, the ground report must be part and parcel of this mix.
You want to remember that?
This montage.
In that report, it was the nastiest, dirty. As a matter of fact, what caught my attention was how filthy the program was on our airwaves. And I was asking myself,
people, I only included this simply to show you that Dr. Rowley and his situational ethics disposition and his self-righteous indignation when he is on the receiving end, that rapist and pedophile, and I say so without fear of contradiction. Let's go past that and hear some other components of his misogynic disrespect, obnoxious and egregious insensitivity, especially to women.
And she can jump high, she can jump low, she can drink this, she can drink that, she can back me down because I know she jump. Coming with a coattail telling you, vote for Kamala. That is tantamount to hugging up a porcupine to go to bed.
Minister, I'd like to take the conversation to a more social round, the social climate. You look on social media.
It's Christmas time, we should have some drinks then.
Well, perhaps of the non-alcoholic flavor.
But that is not drink. Well, of course, like a woman.
Ugly like,
you gotta groom her every day.
Like Brutus.
Otherwise, it turns into a pasture. I choose my words very carefully. I choose my word very carefully. You could behave as an effective opposition leader. I think the country is better for that. But geometry is not really the way to deal with these things. 1/3 of the murders in recent times are domestic violence or domestic issues. And then that, you call on the Prime Minister to do something about crime. I'm not in your bedroom, I'm not in your choice of men. Call on the Prime Minister to do something about crime. I'm not in your bedroom, I'm not in your choice of men.
That ugly son of a gun, and has the audacity to come in our faces and talking moral and ethical talk, and that he could find and instruct the Minister of Finance. It seemed to be a needle in a haystack, $100 million, to, of course, go out there and try to bribe his way into or to remain in office. That is not, to me, is a combination of a palace coup and what I consider to be an auto coup. But auto coup is more appropriate and a description having regard to the fact that they utilize the apparatus of government in order to stay in office and then claim that somehow the PNM is superlative and is infallible. Haul your tail, Rowley. Let's go back, of course, to what he will not tell us in the OAS story. Those of you who just joined us, yes, Rowley went to the OAS, instructed our representative not to go there because he is in support of Maduro. The fact that he continues to be silent on the matter, the fact that he will not, of course, condemn the Maduro administration for persecuting his own people and have them migrate, have them leave, of course, Venezuela in groves. We must be extremely concerned, and therefore in such circumstance we must express our disapprobation and to tell Rowley in all certain terms, you cannot and must not represent us because you have failed us and you have betrayed us. Most perfidious. Let's go straight, of course, to that OAS meeting and the consequence.
of American States OAS Permanent Council was one vote short of passing a resolution to demand that Venezuelan electoral authorities publish the minutes of each voting table, which would prove there was no fraud when the...
Let's start over.
This is a special corridor transformation news item.
The Organization of American States OAS Permanent Council was one vote short of passing a resolution to demand that Venezuelan electoral authorities publish the minutes of each voting table, which would prove there was no fraud when the incumbent Nicolas Maduro had been lawfully chosen for the 2025 to 2031 term. The initiative, put forward by the United States, Argentina, Paraguay, Chile, and Uruguay, failed to reach the minimum of 18 endorsements, with a final tally of 70 each polling station. In addition to a comprehensive verification of the results be carried out in the presence of independent observation organizations to guarantee the transparency, credibility, and legitimacy of the results. The draft resolution also mentioned that it is an absolute priority to safeguard fundamental human rights in Venezuela, especially the right of citizens to demonstrate peacefully without reprisals, while stressing the importance of protecting and preserving all equipment used in the electoral process. The projected document also expressed the OAS solidarity with the Venezuelan people and asked Maduro's regime to guarantee the security of diplomatic facilities and personnel residing in Venezuelan territory, including those requesting asylum in such facilities. Those voting in favor were Argentina, Canada, Chile, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, United States, and Uruguay. Abstentions: Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Grenada, Honduras, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia. Not participating: Dominica, Mexico, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, people, of course, you would have seen Trinidad and Tobago not participating. That is a travesty. So you love Maduro more than you love the people of Trinidad and Tobago? All you have to say, you condemn that evil that has descended on his own people. He has descended on his own people and risk a further maybe 100,000 leaving there and coming of the millions that may decide to leave if things didn't work out as the opposition are hoping it to be, to come here and invade Trinidad and Tobago. You know what is that for our demographics? People are saying that the demographics of Trinidad and Tobago biologically has already started to change. I said a whitey people, and you don't know what to call them now, because when a Douglas have to have relations with a Spanish, you don't know what you're going to produce. We know when African have with Indians, we produce a Douglas. So I don't know if it's going to be a triple whammy kind of new species of human beings we may be inviting at this point in time. Yes, but I have another one before I leave you. It is already way past 9:30 and heading to 10 o'clock, but I have to give credence to this call. Go ahead. A pleasant good night. Good night. Good night.
Yes, Lennox.
Hey.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
That man next door, they ain't coming out. And these fellas pledge their allegiance, and they have to keep up with it. He's staying there till he dead. This one staying here till he dead.
But is that what you feel?
Or till he plays somebody else and the P&M go on and on. The other night when I tell you, he wouldn't want to call the election, he will postpone it. I notice he get damn mad.
But yes,
But
I get mad
it
in the
could
sense
happen.
that I'm annoyed, and I can't see it because I know there are too much things that he hypocritically would have pretended that will come to once he does that, to shatter all he tried to hoodwink the Americans and try to have good relations here, etc. All that will come to zero when he would have made that move, because it would be too glaring and too conspicuous, for want of a better term.
Anyhow, all I keep saying is he wish it could be a one-party state. I've saying that
he
long
wished that,
time.
yeah, of course he
We
wished
now
it.
seeing it with
PNM
him.
must be there forever.
And
Look what he building. He building a monstrosity of steel, mortar, bricks, and now glass, Oh,
the man going there to stay forever and ever till he
so
dead.
that's Idi Amin. Idi
All of
Amin
them staying there.
That is a Gaddafi construct. That is a Saddam Hussein kind of construct. He didn't put a statue of himself. But he
Saddam
put,
Hussein.
yeah, but
Anyhow,
he put a
I listened
building.
to Wade Mark yesterday.
Yes.
And what Wade Mark is saying that he hear a little birdie whisper that they might want
November.
to call the elections November this year.
Yes,
a
November.
snap election.
Yeah.
But I doubt.
I too.
He ain't gonna take that kind of chance.
Nah, I too. I doubt it
So
as well.
all them
He had
kind
no
of
money.
thing they hearing is set up, people setting up
And they
to
themselves
distract.
might be trying to, of course, put things in people's hearing to test the waters, so to speak, and to feel how people feel. This is how he brought out the idea, as he did before when he said somebody want to kill him. He said that somebody want to undermine and to overthrow his government. This evil, this criminal, this miscreant, this ne'er-do-well believe that he could do that 3 and 4 and 5 times
telling you,
and
the
get away with it.
next one saying that over there, and he bringing ton loads of Cuban soldiers in the country.
Yes.
This is why the people rioting
do not have
and
that.
killing police and things, because they
say
wear the same uniform
with
the Venezuelan guys. So
with
they're
assurance,
attacking
Rowley
them.
does not have that luxury. He could feel so. He doesn't have it. And tomorrow night, of course, I will show you one of the reasons why he feels so, but could never be as fortunate evilly as Maduro. Maduro's time will come to an end, no doubt, but it will take a bit longer, just as Hitler, just as Mussolini.
Yes, it's taking time, eh? Oh, gosh, boy.
But Rowley will not get that kind of laxity, let me put it that way. He will have to take a Broclax first, or a laxative, and of course get to the toilet on a regular basis. Before he could engage in that kind of arbitrary
He might bring
action.
them here to guard him, to guard him. But to say have soldiers, no, he could have them as guard. I understand he have them here as spies. They're posing as they were working and so, but they're spies.
Grenada tried that. And it didn't last as long as the Red House fire. I don't time with Rowley. That is huffing and puffing. That is making belief. But he knows his days are numbered, and he knows that it is inevitable, and he knows that the people hate him, and he knows that, of course, he has been toxic to the people, and he knows he has weaponized government against the people, and the only response is an avalanche of votes when the time comes, when he has to call the elections, and the people will, of course, decide. Tobago, of course, is just this test run of that inevitable
Lennox.
situation. All right.
And I want you to keep haunting him. You keep haunting him with that OAS information.
Of course.
Let's see if this conjurer will answer.
Yes.
You must go down
Finally,
with that
you finally will have to reveal.
And you know you could haunt him good.
Yes.
He can't take you on,
that blasted rapist and pedophile. All right, my dear. All right, people, of course, let me just conclude with this video, which, of course, we put, and you'll see more of this kind of news on the corridor transformation and on the ground report as we work collectively together to, of course, bring information that may not find itself in the news, but will be very interesting to you as you consolidate and solidify your position against this marauding bunch of opportunistic political parasites. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yeah, good night. Once more again, Mr. Lennox.
Yes, my
Mr.
friend.
Lennox,
Yes.
listen, yesterday I saw in the news tonight, I see PNM putting on a big show in Tobago. I see SRP, Mr. Colpot, and the Commissioner of Police, and police and army, and they walking the streets. I said, wow, PNM campaigning already, boy.
Yeah.
You understand?
Let them
One
go
big show. You understand?
Yeah.
And nothing coming out of that, you know.
Of course not.
They only set a photo up and all kind of stupid nonsense.
That's right, that public relations bubblery. Bubblery. That's what that is about, right? Even the public relations is bubble because they will take millions of dollars and give to their local media friends to promote and to try to keep us in bondage. But no, we have emerged out of that. Remember, we say we educating ourselves, and that's the greatest liberator. You don't want nothing better than that.
You know, Mr. Lennox, I can't wait to, man, I can't wait for the elections to call nobody because I want to make sure my index finger send a serious message to them, you know.
Yeah, but please don't be so enthusiastic that you will spoil your voter. Make sure you put the X in the right place.
Boy, that will be a careful me, boy.
All right,
trust me.
I hear you, my friend. Okay, then. Let me go
anyway,
to that. Yeah, same here. Thanks for, of course, your contribution. Let's go straight to that video. You will be equally, of course, amazed and, of course, stunned by this news item.
News on Paria Fuel Company. The Paria Fuel Company spent $430,773,410 United States dollars and 61 cents on refined products between April 1st, 2024 and June 30th, 2024, and regionally it sold 263,882,807 United States dollars and 18 cents of refined products. The Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago said energy companies are the third largest user of foreign exchange reserves, with the largest being retail and distribution, followed by the automotive industry. The UNC has analysed how much money had been spent by Paria Fuel Trading Company to import refined products from December 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2024. Clearly, Trinidad and Tobago energy security is vulnerable to foreign volatility. From December 1st, 2018 to September 30th, 2019, 997,760,993 United States dollars were spent. From October 1st, 2019 to September 30th, 2020, 884 million for 189,256 United States dollars was spent. From October 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021, 1,046,361,904 United States dollars was spent. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022, 1,996,381,525 United States dollars was spent. From October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023, 1,389,187,961 United States dollars was spent.
Yes, people, we have come to the end, but just to do encapsulation or capsule assessment, because we're going to go into details tomorrow night on the whole question of the OAS matter. We need to get people to understand the nitty-gritty and every morsel of information that come out there, in spite of the generic understanding that Rowley has betrayed us again by not even attending or sending a representative at the OS meeting. And then, of course, we know that it's 20 million US a month. 20 million US a month we spend in this country to import fuel. And that fuel that we import goes beyond the requirements of the country. We have an obligation under the Treaty of Chaguaramas or within the organization called the CARICOM to give or to supply some of our neighbors with fuel. So we have that obligation. So that 20 million a month US. And you see the kind of billions US it has turned into. We will look at that as well. And you will understand as well as we no longer can produce or are producing the amount of oil that we were producing just around 2008. And indeed, just before 2015. And the reduction in gas, we have something like 4 billion cubic feet of gas that we need, but we only have access to about 3. So you will understand as well the problems that Point Lisa's factories that depend on the same gas for both fuel as well as raw material to produce fertilizer, etc. And therefore the reduction, the substantive reduction in the inflow of foreign exchange simply because we do not have that fundamental that drives our economy. We must also add to the fact, and consistent with the what I consider to be the blight and the curse that is Rowley and his government. We must know that the mothballing, or should I say the investment of over 200 million in Train 1, the LNG plant, just there, but you go on and upgrade it and have the audacity and the temerity to tell us that because we got a 1 or 2% ownership in Train 2 and 3, that somehow that caused it. You feel people are asses like you, Rowley. You're bald-headed nincompoop. It's just a matter of negotiation, just as how. If, of course, the upstreamers, BP, etc., were making more and more money, any government coming into office had to negotiate. And the classic example would have been to benefit Trinidad, of course, more. But he had to do that, but taking claim that nobody else could do it. You damn ass. Because I am saying so against the background that when he decided to close down Petrotrin, and there was no need to mothball or to close down or to disrupt production at the oil refinery, and making these puerile, infantile, nebulous, asinine, and anti-economic advancement and anti-attraction of foreign exchange decisions. Yes, that is what they are, including anti-job creation or job maintenance, because thousands were fired directly and indirectly. Let's not waste time with that. The southwestern peninsula is a ghost town and a running and current disaster. So let's not waste time with that. But the point I am making is that those decisions were inimical to the interests of the people and was only in the interest of Rowley and his minions, his cabinet in this case, who must be prosecuted criminally for making this decision to close down Petrotrin in the way that they did, inimical to the interests of the people and losing so much potential foreign exchange. That's where I'm going. And they did that to save Rowley from an investigation with respect to the fake oil. That's what they did. The perversion of the course of the criminal justice system. That is what the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, whether they were inveigled, whether they were deceived, is irrelevant. They are all culpable and accountable to the people for that disaster. Today, people cannot get $100 or $50 US because of those decisions. And just in case all they believe is fly-by-night talk, ad hominem talk, or simply one's imagination. But let me close by giving you a very practical situation. The option that was eventually taken anyway, even though Rowley told us that there was an $850 million bullet payment at a particular point in time that they could not have met, they had to close down. Well, don't matter when he told us, of course, that 100,000 barrels a day and they're losing $7 on each barrel thereabout. And even though Imbert come back and told us that the Petrotrin oil refinery, and that is why they wanted it to be up and running quickly after they closed it down, was largely because it is a crucial component to the Trinidad and Tobago economy. Well, Imbert took his mouth afterwards and said, you see, the Lord moves in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. And according to the Greeks, who when, of course, you're sour, or put another way, who the gods wish to destroy, the first send them mad. They speak the truth, in other words. So we know that they are criminals. And we have to see them and identify them and tell them in the faces that we know, and they know that they are, and that therefore wives of a criminal will not like people to know that they are criminals and call them a criminal. We need to make them know that we know that they are criminals because they are conscious. And in case they are not conscious, we want to make them conscious that they are in fact criminals. Let's not waste time. So any government faced with that bullet payment, faced with the fictitious oil situation as far as the maintenance or the viability of the oil refinery is concerned, and if we are to take Rowley's argument and the fact that he went and renegotiated that loan, that bullet payment that was supposed to be so crucial to the decision that was made against the people's interests, against taxpayers, against our future generations. And yes, you future generations, I'm coming out only tomorrow. You future, or should I say current, possibly those of you who just reached 18 years and by election time you will be 18 years, are coming at all here. Play all don't want to defend and protect and save the country that is all your own. Whilst we, the seniors, will be long gone, you will be suffering and reeling from the repercussions of the ill decisions, the poor decisions, the criminal decisions, the self-serving decisions of this fella called Rowley, leading, of course, a pack of nincompoops and asinine specimen of inhumanity, incompetent, impotent, a criminal rapist and a pedophile who sits in the highest executive office and then pontificates when it is convenient, of course. Well, they went and renegotiated, so they had that option all the time. So why did you close down Petrotrin? And then, of course, they have the audacity, the temerity, when, of course, Putin waged his war with the Ukraine. He then says, well, listen, our oil company that we, of course, right-sized is making a windfall over $8 billion just so no increase in production. So there's no benefit there. But the same amount of oil we have been reducing as they are, because the price of a barrel of oil increased exponentially around that time, they were able to make an extra $8 billion. So if you want to take credit for that, then you must also pin to your shoulder the fact that we would have gained, and nobody could count how much we would have gained if the oil refinery was operating when Putin called or waged his war against the Ukraine. Nobody. You think we should be reeling for $100 and $50 US at this point in time? It's the criminal conduct and the conspiracy of the cabinet that created that. People, of course, we have come to the end. I thought it was important, of course, to raise that issue before, of course, tomorrow we'll extrapolate a little more and go, of course, deeper into, of course, both that Maduro and OS matter, as well as, of course, the last one, the situation with the spending. And that is the epitome of profligacy, waste. That's a waste of money. Those 20 million US a month that we have to expend, and then they have the audacity to say market forces will take charge, and therefore, of course, if the price increases, well, you get an increase at the pump, and if it is reduced, you get a reduce at the pump. They put it up 3-4 times, and it never came back down, and it continues, of course, I'm sure, to rise. This is the level of incompetence and conmanship and chicanery that we have purporting to be government and governance in this country. Yes, the people, of course, we have come to the end. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. See you tomorrow morning on the ground report. Yes, Andy, Mike, and myself, as we continue to do what we do best, and that is to say, bring the information and let you, of course, ultimately make a decision that is in your best interest. Your best interest here, well, Trinidad and Tobago, as well as, of course, every other resident and to be in Trinidad and Tobago. We have a duty to protect them and defend them against these vipers that have captured government and have weaponized it against the people. Let's, of course, sing Unity. Yes, indeed.
Once upon a time there was a magic island full of magic people. Let me tell you a story about their pain and their glory. Oh yeah. Many rivers flow to this naked eye, bringing fear and pain, but also a brand new style. And of all these rivers that shape this land, two mighty ones moved like a sculptor's hand. And today those hands across the land, man, is still landscaping. And there's no doubt we can work it out, there is no escaping. As the river flows, there are those who will change its passage. But every common man got to understand up and send a message. So put up your hand if you understand. Now come, see how we moving, watch how we grooving, see how we step in style. One lovely nation under a groove, the Ganges can meet the Nile. Them boys with the hidden agendas and the mind benders, people don't take it front. The smart men and politicians can come along with them, 'cause the people got the power and the glory. See how
You go there and expose us, and for that, we're going to kill you politically. This country has a corruption problem.
the Ganges has met the Nile. Differences there will always be, so that you'll be you and I'll be me. That's the damn thing, self, that makes it sweet. Brother, bring your drum.
This country has a corruption problem. A code, a mafiosi code. We keep each other's secret. It's only when you break rank, you go there and expose us, and for that, we're going to kill you politically. This country has a corruption problem.